Recording in progress. Do, do, do. Okay. Let's pretend we haven't been talking for the past 5 minutes. How's it going?
I'm tired of existing, you know? It's exhausting.
Yeah, life is quite all encompassing. I think every year you should get like maybe a coupon book of like seven tap out coupons. You're just like,
Seven tap outs.
yeah. And everyone has to be like, okay, yeah, yeah. Like you can't get in trouble from work or like family. Like they have to respect it. I actually think that that would be something that we could do. I actually saw something that was like in remembrance of the lockdown. We should have a week every year where like we have to pretend like we're in
No,
lockdown. Did you ever see that?
no, no.
I'm not.
Absolutely not.
No, I know, but I don't know. Like, I didn't really get the like. What are we remembering
The trauma of never being allowed to leave your forking house.
now that we're a little bit removed from that? What would you say, like overall? What is your give us a sentence or two to sum up your lockdown experience?
Going crazy and online shopping and drinking to cope.
Right, and how different is that from your regular life? I'm just kidding.
I'm going crazy. I don't have money to online shop because the
Right,
government's not giving me any. I'm not drinking a lot.
that's good. So it is different. That's good. I didn't really. I never really had to lock down because I was still working. So I never really had like a long stretch of time until I actually got it and I was out for whatever, how many days it was. I think it was like 5. And that wasn't, I wouldn't say that was fun, but
Yeah, but you got it like when it was socially acceptable to get it and like you didn't have to quarantine for
yeah,
two
no,
weeks.
I didn't have to shun, I didn't have to, go silent.
Yeah, when I got it, it was 10 days. You weren't allowed to do anything. Like everyone thought you were gonna die.
Did you feel like, did you try and hide it from people? Like, did you not want people to know?
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody, so I didn't tell anybody.
Can I tell the story of you telling me?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so we were on FaceTime and we hadn't talked too much during that week. So I thought like something was off, but it was also around midterms. So I was like, oh, maybe she's just, stressed out about her midterms. So I was kind of leaving you alone. And then we were on FaceTime, which isn't weird. Like we would FaceTime from time to time. And like after half an
Not
hour,
from time to time. We were always FaceTiming
yeah, yeah,
during
yeah.
those days.
No, of course, of course. So it wasn't weird to be
Mhm.
FaceTiming. So I was talking to you for maybe like half an hour. And then you're like, I have something to tell you. And I was like, what? Like, what could it be? Obviously, like, I was like, worst case scenario, worst case scenario. And then when you said I have COVID, we were both like, me and my sister were both like, oh, okay. Like, kind of relieved that it wasn't something more serious. But yeah,
Rude.
I'm so sorry. Well, I wasn't, we were trying to be rude. It was just, our minds went elsewhere. So then when we were just told that it was just COVID, it was like not a big deal. But I'm sorry if that made your situation at the time feel insignificant. We had calibrated our expectations a little bit too high. So when it was just that, we were relieved, which means we care.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we have an actual focus this week. We have a theme, but before we get to that, I thought we could just knock out some of our recurring segments. Do you have a Gupdate for us? Because I unfortunately and fortunately do not.
Just been a little all over the place, you know? Like, I don't know what makes it happy. I'm trying to figure out what makes my gut happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell if it's nothing or everything, but like,
Well, that's a positive way to look at it. Like you could look at it like what will improve my gut health? Like what can I add to my diet to help the biome as opposed to which should I take away?
but I just want to know, like, what makes me violently ill?
Well, have you been violently ill
A couple of times.
a couple of times? Um,
Usually it's food court
Chinese
Chinese
food.
food.
I think you can get like a 23andMe for your gut.
That'd be nice.
I,
Literally the other day at work, I thought I was gonna vomit the entire day. I'm like, I don't know, like I would eat something. I literally had like, what did I have that day? Was it strawberries or cherries? Whatever, some sort of fruit. And I'm like,
Fruit can get you sometimes.
no, it wasn't even that. I was like, oh, like maybe I'll Maybe I'm just hungry. Maybe that's why I want to throw up. Because that
I
happens sometimes. A lot of women have this in the mornings. Like we all just feel nauseous. And then sometimes when you eat something, it goes away. But sometimes when you eat something, it makes it worse. So it's like, do you starve or do you eat something? Because either way, there's a gamble where you're going to feel nauseous and want to puke.
That's terrible. That's quite horrible. Speaking of nauseous and puking, do you ever do that when you start a sentence and then realize you have nowhere for it to go?
Sometimes I just forget what I'm saying.
I think it was a good idea for us to start a podcast with those two qualities in mind. Um, I'm trying to think.
We'll
Oh
see
yeah,
how long this lasts.
we'll see. We're gonna try, even if it gets to just like I said in the first episode, us burping into a voice note. What was I going to say? Oh, I think the last time we recorded together was right before your birthday party. Would you like to offer an update, a recap? You don't have to, but
Um, I'll keep it short and sweet. Number one, DJs, play what people request to you. None of this, I'm only going to play what I want. No. You want people shaking their on the dance floor, so listen to what the drunk girls are requesting. Number two, why is everyone at every club 19 or underaged? I feel like a grandma. That is all.
yeah. I mean, that first one sounds like pretty self-explanatory, but I don't know what these DJs aren't getting. Like, it's not about you. Listen to your music on the car ride home.
Literally. We request a song and they're like, I'm not going to play that. And we're like, what do you mean you don't want to
And is it
play?
like a deep cut or is it like play
Mm,
Hit Me Baby one more time?
we requested a whole bunch of things. Like we requested 22 by Taylor Swift. We requested Girls Want Girls by Drake. We requested Olivia we like didn't even pick. We're like any Olivia Rodrigo song. Like put it in a mashup. We don't care.
And it's not like, because as you said, you're like on the older scale of people there. So
Yeah.
it's not like they think that the majority of the people there wouldn't know those songs. I mean, I think
Right.
that's what they're listening to. Should we become DJs? I think we could do it.
I think we'd be better than these losers.
Do you think they don't take requests because they already have their playlist lined up and they just hit play?
Either that or they're just such pretentious assholes where they're like, I don't want to listen to your taste. You don't know what's
Then
good.
you should just stage like a some sort of rebellion and just get everyone to stand still.
No, that's the thing that happened. People were standing still for a solid like 10 minutes because he's just playing this one song and everyone's like, what the fuck is this? Every time I look, everyone's like,
And do they do the thing over the microphone like, come on, jump everybody?
no. You can tell you've never been to a club.
No. But they don't like, you know,
Don't go
how
jump
sometimes
everybody.
or like, but you know what I mean? They do like they try and engage. No, is that
This
not how
guy
it
was
works?
just pretentious.
Well, I hope there are better experiences. Lag ahead. Oh, I did get a note. We don't get much feedback here except from our microphones. But I got a thing from my mother saying, you could really cut out the burping. So I might have burped for the
Right.
last time.
So
Okay. Would you like to let the people know about our quick snack graveyard? We have a shared snack graveyard this week.
it seems like a lot of our favorite snacks from McDonald's get discontinued.
It's a conspiracy. What discontinued, wronged McDonald's snack are we're paying honor to this week?
The McMinis.
Specifically, the sweet chili Thai McMini.
Oh, it was so good.
For those of you that don't know, it was like I want to say like mini. It was like a chicken sandwich, but it was pretty small. With
It gave like McRib energy with what it looked like.
but with actual like a protein in it,
Oh,
not whatever they give you in the McRib. We'll of course put up a picture on our social medias and we'll make a TikTok for sure. Yeah, see, and it looks so good. And it was pretty simple. Like it was chicken, mayo, the sweet chili thing, and some bread. Now I don't know why they had to discontinue that. Like, you know what was really wrong of them?
what?
When they discontinued the grilled cheese. Are you telling me they don't have bread or cheese?
They had grilled cheese.
Yeah, they took, do you know the middle bun of a Big Mac?
Yeah.
And it's like flat.
Mm-hmm.
on both sides. They just took that and put some cheese in the middle. What was to discontinue?
Yeah, what the hell?
I bet you could do some backwards, like I'll take a Big Mac with anything with everything but or
Yeah.
nothing but the middle
No,
bun.
that's what some of my friends used to do when we'd go out. They'd order Big Macs with no meat, and it was just essentially like a fancy grilled cheese.
And I know you can do that at Starbucks. Like if you can order the same drink, but you just say it differently, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the exact same thing, but like $2 cheaper.
Right, I see.
And just a little update from our a couple weeks ago, how we were talking about how the Dunkaroos has terrible packaging, terrible price, and terrible frosting. I saw the other day they changed the packaging. It looks more like it used to. They changed the price. It's like $5 for six as opposed to 18. And it's chocolate frosting now. So maybe that consistency has been fixed. I don't know. We'll have to research and development that.
Talk about the power of manifestation.
Yeah, we really did it. We did it, Joe. I'm so proud of us. Okay. So the bulk of our episode this week will be conspiracy theories. A conspiracy theory is something that people believe happened where the idea promoted around it is that the opposite happened technically. So, for example, when people say, there are aliens, the idea of aliens are a conspiracy theory because common logic and common understanding would be that there's not aliens.
I don't think aliens are a conspiracy theory. We don't know if there are aliens.
No, but the idea is that there isn't. But are there? I don't know. It's basically a theory you can't prove. Let me pull up a very fancy definition.
I don't think aliens would be the best example you really could have went for here.
No, but it was the only one that I could give an example of that we're not going to talk about later. Okay, conspiracy theory, according to lexico.com. A belief that some secret but influential organization is responsible for an event or phenomenon. That sounds a bit too specific, but we'll go with it. So, our first conspiracy theory is, I think, my favorite of all time. So, we're really starting off on a good foot. Is that Disney named the movie Frozen, so that when you Googled it, you wouldn't see articles about the conspiracy theory that Walt Disney's head, or whole body rather, is frozen in the basement of Disney. So just I'll go into detail after, but just first thoughts, Kata, what do you think about this?
Like that could definitely be true.
Absolutely. I think that's genius because if you think about it, the movie Frozen, like, it's not really about frozen. Like, it just happens in a cold climate. That would be like calling The Lion King, like, heat.
No, but like in the 2010s, I want to say like Disney had that whole like don't call the movies like Ariel or The Little Mermaid, you know? Like don't call them like what
What
you
they
think it would be called. It'd be like Brave, Tangled, Frozen.
they wanted to. There was a movement. Yes, but then did they start that movement so that they could call Disney Frozen?
You'd have to ask Walt for on
I would
that
have to
one.
ask Walt when he comes back from the dead. So the idea is Walt Disney died, I believe, in the 60s or 70s. And shortly after he passed, a reporter claimed to have snuck down into the hospital that he died in. And I guess they had a big freezer down there. I don't know why he thought to look down there, and saw that there was his frozen body in this cryogenic freezer. Now, apparently, that reporter, after that, like, disappeared off the face of the earth. No one has been able to contact him since, and people can't really find proof of that original article. So it's not obviously the most
Sound.
sound source, but I just feel like why would he want to sneak down into the basement? Like, I don't. It's not really making sense to me. And then apparently there is proof that when he first, because Walt Disney died of lung cancer, there is proof that when he first got diagnosed, he was looking into how one can be cryogenically frozen. So he was interested
Side
in it.
question.
Yeah.
Did Elvis really die on the toilet because he was constipated?
No. Although that would be a Gupdate.
Because I read that somewhere the other day. And by read
Oh,
that
no,
somewhere
no,
the
no,
other
no.
day, I mean I saw a TikTok.
No, no, no. He didn't die. From what I know, he did die in the bathroom, and he might have died on the toilet, but it wasn't because he was constipated.
Oh. The true story behind Elvis's death. Okay, keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, so there's proof that Disney had talked about freezing himself or wanted to freeze himself, but what really gets people is where they say he was buried, which is in like the Disney farm. No, what's it called? What's a farm for dead people? A cemetery? Excuse me. The Disney cemetery.
A farm for dead people.
The Disney cemetery. There's no proof of him being there. There's no nameplate. There's no like because they think that the idea is that he was cremated, but there's no like this is where this ashes rest. There's no any proof that he is where people think he is. So there's really two conspiracy theories at play. One that he was frozen, and one that they called Disney Frozen. So that when you Googled Walt Disney Frozen, you're getting all the results in the movie, not about the founder
Mhm.
of the company's dead head.
Exactly.
So I just think it's genius, and I actually don't think that that's that. I don't think it's illegal, so I don't know why they're hiding it. If it was true, it is a bit strange, but I think he wants to be thawed. I think he was hoping that at some point
He could come
modern
back.
medicine would catch up to like cure what he died of, and they could thaw him, do the treatment, and he would come back to life. Okay, moving on. The Mandela Effect.
Okay, so the Mandela Effect is a situation in which people, you typically a group of people, have a false memory of an event. For example, people thought Nelson Mandela died in prison. Like so many people vividly remember this, but he didn't. He died in 2013. He was out of prison,
And
not
I
in the
think
1980s when he was locked away, like people think.
and I think what made people realize this is that when he did die, they were like, "What? Didn't he already die?" And I guess
But
enough
he was the president before. When people, I guess people are stupid and don't know who
people are
world leaders
stupid.
are.
I bet it came from like people that didn't live in like South Africa. Like people here probably thought, "Oh, he's dead." So yeah, there's actually a lot of examples of this effect. One of them being that I guess the Berenstain Bears,
We're actually the Bernstein Bears.
and no one knew. Now, as a fan of the TV show, I read some of their books, but I was more a fan of the TV show on Treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Berenstain Bear sounds right, but I guess some people remember Berenstein or however, like it was switched, and people think like, oh, this is how it is spelt, but then they look back at their books that they have, and the books I guess caught up to the Mandela effect. So like even if you remember your book that you've had for years being having it being spelt one way,
Mm-hmm.
if you check now, it's the new way, or is it?
Or is it?
It's quite confusing. Also, apparently, um, you would remember the in Cinderella. She says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall."
Well, that's the wrong movie. So I'm gonna stop you
What?
right there.
Which one is that?
Snow White.
Snow White. She says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall." No, she doesn't. She says, "Magic mirror." So something's up. She never says, "Mirror, mirror."
Well, Fruit Loops, like, is it Fruit or Froot?
I would have said Froo.
Exactly. Nobody knows. Also, did Curious George have a tail?
I can't. I don't have a stake in that game.
Mm.
So I would encourage everyone if you haven't heard of this. This was very 2016, so you've probably heard of this. So this is a nice little throwback, but it's very interesting how these things have happened. I would probably say it is more so people remembering stuff wrong. And when you remember something, you think you remember something, you like even like you can memory is a weird thing. If I paid attention during one psychology class, I learned that memory is weird. So I don't know that I think the theory is that we like go into different dimensions and things
Huh?
get, and yeah, so they think that like we switch universes or like parallel universes or something like that. And when you do that, like everything's mostly the same, but then little things switch.
Mm.
So yeah. Okay, next one. People think that birds are fake.
Oh, I 100% believe this.
You think birds are fake?
Well, I hate birds, so I'd love to believe that they were fake.
I'm not a fan of birds. I don't have like a
I
bird.
I have a immense disdain for birds.
What have the birds done to you?
What haven't they done? They are just evil. I don't think that there's any good in birds.
Yeah, so to get back to the theory, people believe that birds are like recording devices by the government to surveil people. Now, I'm sure the government does own a vast selection of surveillance devices as birds. So maybe birds are real, but then they mix in some fake birds. So it's not 100% of a lie. But I feel like there are actual birds because I've seen, birds ran over on the freeway or something.
Mhm.
And they bleed. They're not just like wires and cameras.
But maybe they just made them that way.
That's true. Although I'd like to think if they can, you know, have technology that's good, they could use it for maybe a little bit something better than surveilling people. When we all carry around phones every day that could do the job just the same.
Well, no, this isn't the theory that the bird started when what's his nuts was president.
Who?
Was it Eisenhower?
I've never heard of him.
But yeah, that's because no offense, but not the most.
Worldly.
There you go.
That was a nice way of putting it.
1940s.
But is there proof that there were birds before then? Like dinosaurs are birds, no?
Yeah, it was Eisenhower. I knew it was.
We knew it. So yeah, birds. If you ever see a bird, maybe wave. They should put on their little tails like smile, you're on video, like how the security cameras at Walmart and stuff do that. Like they could at least let us know so they can get our good side.
People think that JFK was assassinated by the government due to his reluctance to kill all the birds.
Ooh, so this is like a second conspiracy theory I play. This is all mixing together. So yes,
They're all intertwined.
they're all intertwined. There's a conspiracy that JFK was, obviously assassinated and it was like an inside job, but they think that someone wanted him to kill all the birds and he said no. But was it in a Greta Thunberg way, of like he wanted to save the birds, or people wanted him to cease production of the fake birds?
It doesn't say.
Right. We'll have to get our research and development team on that one because that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. Okay, next one to kind of stick with the government theme. People think that chemtrails are people spraying some sort of chemical over us.
Alexa, play Chemtrails Over the Country Club by Lana Del Rey.
And Alexa, please Google what a chemtrail is.
It's those little like that come out of the planes.
I feel like that could be a bit of a stretch. I don't know that I believe that one. I think
Like,
that,
wouldn't it just be like the fumes coming out of the plane?
yeah, like I think they're bad either way because, the climate probably doesn't love having that smoke in it all the time. But I think there's a logical reason for that happening. Like my car does that all the time. There's like smoke and
For other
fumes
reasons.
for other reasons. I have to get an oil change. This is a great reminder of that. But yeah, no, I don't think they're spraying stuff. Again, I think there's easier ways for them to control us, like allowing Taco Bell to put in whatever chemicals they want into our food,
And make it $3.
and make it $3. I think they would find a way to make money off of it. I don't think I'm going to debunk this one. This isn't real. Okay, so the next one is close to our hearts, as I would say, royal advisors to the throne. People think that our girl Lizzie Liz killed Princess Diana.
Oh, she 100% did. And don't try to tell me otherwise.
I feel like she did because I can't think of another royal figure who didn't die from being old as hell.
I'm just saying.
So, brief rundown. People think that the queen ordered the hit, or maybe not the queen. Let's not. This is all alleged.
It was definitely the monarchy. Someone up there.
Someone in the institution wanted Diana dead. Do you remember why they wanted her dead?
Because she was dating a someone,
And it wasn't it that if she was alive, Char Char couldn't be queen?
or he couldn't get married.
Right, because and for a full background, if you're someone who isn't familiar with any of this, I can do my best to try and explain it. Princess Diana was married to the Queen's son, Char Char Charles the Third, or whatever. Char Char Charles. They had two kids and then got divorced. I don't think they ever really liked each other. I think it was more of like a setup situation. I'm not too sure. I'm sure you could all, this is very easily Googleable, but why would we do that? That seems like an extra step. So Char Char and Dai Dai divorced. And then Char Char was, I think, cheating on um,
I don't know
Dai
that I would
Dai.
ever say they were besties.
No, they weren't
Have
besties
you
because they,
watched The Crown?
I actually haven't. It's way too long. It's like each episode is like a movie. I can't do that.
You love movies.
I do, but I kind of fall asleep now.
Oh.
But Char Char, yeah. So Charles and Diana were married, hated each other, had two kids, and then I think Char Char was cheating on her with someone he's still married to today. And I think in order for either them to get married or him to be queen one day, Diana had to be out of the equation. Because did you ever see that interview when she was like, it was very hard to be in a relationship with three people. It was quite crowded, I have to say.
Mm.
She pretty much told us that they were all being cheated on. So rest in peace. But yeah, I would say there was some shenanigans going on there.
Side note, I just Googled list of popular conspiracy theories, and
Mhm.
on Wikipedia, one of the ones that pop up for fandom celebrity relationships and shipping is Larry. And I
What's
love the power of the One Direction fandom.
what's that?
People have a conspiracy that Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson are secretly a couple,
Still?
but they've been closeted by the management.
Oh, like still to this day.
Oh yeah, the late night talking video that just came out, people are convinced that it has clues.
I think people can be convinced of a lot, but that'd be quite interesting. It's quite crowded, I would say. Me on the SkyTrain. It's quite hard to be in this crowded space. So yeah, there's a bonus conspiracy theory. Okay, so these next two kind of go hand in hand. First, we're going to talk about the famous people that are considered dead, but people think aren't dead. Elvis being one of them, as we talked about earlier. People think he was just over, being famous, over being Elvis. Was like, you know what? This is too much. Peace out. I'm going to live in probably Nebraska or Finland. Those are two great options. Which I could see. I could see you being like, this is stupid. If you were at peak fame level, Elvis level fame, would you just fake your own death?
Depends. Am I trying to get out of the spotlight? Then 100% yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really the only way to go. People won't leave you alone otherwise. Actually, people don't even leave you alone when you do die. They're
Exactly.
trying to hologram you and like do movies about you and stuff. So I mean, I could see it. Now, on the other hand, there are famous people that people know to be alive that they think actually died. One,
Avril Lavigne.
our girl Avril. So people think that she had a bodyguard, or sorry, not a bodyguard, a body double
Double.
that at the time, at her peak fame, she would use to distract the paparazzi from knowing where she was. So like she would
Mm-hmm.
send the bodyguard, which I think her name was like Melissa or something, out.
Body double, you keep saying guard.
Sorry, body double out and about. So people would be like, oh, look, it's her, take pictures, take pictures. And then actual Avril could like go to McDonald's and people think that, she's just a nobody because obviously they have the real Avril, aka fake
Mm-hmm.
Avril, on video at the same time because you can't be in two places at the same time. But people think at some point early on, the real Avril, kicks the can, unfortunately. But the people around her were like, she could make so much money if she stayed alive. So Melissa, get in there, you're real Avril. And there's all this proof of like people think her face changed and like she had birthmarks that she didn't have before.
People have way too much time on their
People
hands.
have way too much. That's
I
the
wish
name of
I
this
had that
episode.
kind of time. To analyze Avril Lavigne's birthmark.
I mean, I do it on the weekends, but during the work week, it's just too much. So yeah, if there are any other, I know we covered all of these, very thoroughly and stuff. So, but there's any other conspiracy theories, or you have any comments, please leave them, in our Instagram bio, or not Instagram bio, our Instagram. We'll do a post for this episode. You can let us know any ones you want us to cover, any other information that we missed, which was like probably 80% of the stories for these. We don't like to give too much, leave them wanting more.
Do your own research.
Yeah, did you have anything else to tell the people?
Bush did 9/11. No, that was just the first thing that popped in my head. I don't know if I believe that.
I would say half of the ones we've talked about are true. I don't know exactly which half, but I think for every fake conspiracy theory, there's a real one.
The moon landing, was that real? I guess we'll never know.
I don't have enough information on the moon landing to know, but I could
This girl we
see.
went to high school with was convinced, and she literally talked. We should get her on the podcast. She would literally go into like in-depth details about why the moon landing was fake.
Yeah, we need in-depth details. I could see the perceived benefit of having your country believe you have the capacity to go to the moon. Like I could
Why?
understand.
Why have people not been back?
And they did that in like the 60s. I think it was like
Yeah, with
69.
what technology?
Yeah.
People
So
literally think it was a soundstage because how would a flag wave in
zero gravity.
exactly? With what wind?
With what wind? But I'd imagine they thought about that. So maybe they did some research and saw that it would wave.
I don't know. We should get that girl.
Can you imagine out of nowhere? I know we haven't spoken in 8 years, but you want to come on our podcast and talk about the moon landing? But yeah, thank you for joining us for our time limited Zoom free version 40-minute episode of Nobody Asked for This. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We do have a podcast website as well. Podcast.nobodyaskedforthis.podbean.com. That's where you'll get all the links to our social media. We have a Twitter, we have a Facebook. We can be found anywhere where podcasts can be found: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I think Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Samsung Podcasts, which coincidentally enough is where we are listened to the most. That must be huge in the UK and Finland. Join us every Thursday. We appreciate your time. Kat, did you have any last words for the people?
Just a question, like, why do you say where you can find our podcast if it's
people, because if you're listening to us, you found it.
People have already found it.
I think I'm trying to build some sort of like, if I tell people where they can find it, then if they're telling anyone else to listen, they'll know in their head where they can find it. But I get the point. And it also just sounds more professional. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we will see you next week.
Because we are the epitome of professionality.
We are. Oh, for your free meeting will end soon, so we gotta get out of here. But if anyone works at Zoom, please give us a free upgraded membership. We would really appreciate that. Again, if anyone's aunt works at Sony, we will take your microphones, old, used, scratched, as long as they'll plug into a MacBook. We'll take it. And yeah, we appreciate your time.
Okay, I'm gonna go binge watch the OC.